Hey, it's Kevin. Thank you so much for coming by for another No BS social media chat. Today's a tough one. I get asked the question all the time, sometimes jokingly, but I know in the back of their heads they're serious. But I actually get asked the question oftentimes in all seriousness. What does it take to be a social media superstar? I think number one, you have to determine what being a superstar in your mind is. Does that mean you have a million followers on Facebook? Does that mean 10 million? Does that mean 50 million? Whatever the number is on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or whatever it is that make you a social media superstar? Perhaps. A lot of it depends on what you do with that. Heck, you could go out and you could buy all those Facebook followers and have a million people follow you. You pay a price for it, but would they really be paying attention to you? You'd have that million, but it's really about the engagement. It all comes back to engagement, doesn't it? But I think it's harder to be a social media superstar now for giving good social media, for creating good content than it was a year ago, 5 years ago, let alone 10 years ago. I've noticed over the years that the things I do on YouTube aren't as well connected. Not as many comments, not as many likes, not as many views as they were 5 years ago, let alone nearly 10 years ago when I started on YouTube. Same thing for everything I do on Facebook. It's not as connecting as well because I think, social media has been around long enough. It's not new, cool, fun, exciting. Everybody's been there. Everybody's seen it. You see the same memes over and over again. So everybody's kind of rolling their eyes with a lot of stuff. It's harder to connect. It's harder to become a superstar. Sure, you have your, I wouldn't even call them social media superstars. You have your Kardashian family. You have your Paris Hiltons. You have your people who've become famous for just being famous. And yes, that parlays for them into social media. They utilize social media to help them be famous. But a lot of times, too, you have to become famous in some other way first in order to become social media superstar. I remember years ago, country music singer Tim McGraw, country music singer Carrie Underwood both said they would never, and it was never in quotes and underlined, they would never be involved in social media. Life changes, the world changes, they see the need to keep up with everybody else, so they become, engaged in social media. Well, they were already superstars to begin with, and because of that, they already have a huge amount of followers. Even if it wasn't them to begin with, it was just their team behind the background. People want to be connected with people that matter to them. So I think that's the word here, is connection. And I think if you look at nearly all of the videos we've done over the course of the last few years, connecting with people, making real connections is the key to success, is the key to stardom, is the key to being a social media superstar. Sure, which came first, superstar or social media in your regards? To be honest with you, sometimes superstar predates social media, and then the social media comes along with it. It's harder to go from just a social media nobody to a superstar. Sure, there are young people who do it on YouTube. I was reading an article recently about a young guy who was like 18 years old and a high school dropout, and he started doing some kind of YouTube video blog or something with YouTube, I forgot what it was, and gained millions of followers and now makes a six-figure income out of it. And bravo to him. He found a niche and found people who'd watch it, and they shared it and things like that. But at the same time, how long is that going to last? Can he make a lifetime career out of that? I highly doubt it. Because I know, too, anything on the internet has a shelf span, has a lifespan. I mean, I've got nieces and nephews who range in age from, 28 down to 16, and then almost in stair steps down to now just recently born. Now, of course, the little ones aren't on social media yet, but the 16-year-old, the 12-year-old, the 11-year-old are into social media, are into watching videos on YouTube, and have their favorite channels and have their favorite things to watch. But what I find is when I see them 6 months later and I ask them about a particular thing they were watching, it's like, oh, yeah, I don't watch that anymore. And that's the one thing about social media superstardom. Sometimes the fame is very fleeting. Sometimes you're a flash in the pan. It's almost like a one-hit wonder. You find one thing to be famous about, and then it goes away quickly. There are a lot of YouTube stars who are that way. They can have a viral video. They can be famous for a moment, like that Chocolate Rain guy. I don't know if he's ever done anything else. Or the Star Wars lightsaber guy who was in the garage doing his lightsaber dance. Again, they were funny, they were cute, and they were superstars for a moment. But did they parlay that into a long-term career? And I think that's what any of us do online, is you try to take it from more than being just a one-hit wonder. It's one thing to have a viral video once, but to do it again and again and again is darn near impossible. And so I really wouldn't attempt to try it. What can you do to increase your visibility, increase your likes, your follows, your whatever, your comments? Be more engaging. The more you do, the more real you are, the more you connect with people, the more you care about them than you care about yourself, will help lead you to that point. I follow a lot of the social media cognoscenti who are in the marketing world, who are in the social media world, who are social media superstars in what I do, not in music marketing per se, not just in general, social media, but in terms of, they're the tastemakers of social media. And the one thing they do is put out constant content. And more importantly, they put out good content. And they know it's important to their fans and their followers and their friends. Content, content, content. Back next week, another No BS social media chat. NoBSSocial.com. It's the website you find all of these. Again, if you found us on Facebook this week, you found us on YouTube, we're going to be right here again next week. Feel free to subscribe, to follow, to do whatever. And again, where you found us this week, make a note of it. Come back again next week. Another No BS social media chat. My contact info if you want to talk more, and I'm always open to do it. Phone number, email address, coming up here at the end of the video. Thanks.